Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Mr. Payne bringing you translations of absolute value functions. You are on the page that says M3 Lesson 16, Translations of Absolute Value Functions. Today we are going to graph function of absolute values. So this is the y equals, or a function of absolute value of x. Okay, type in your calculator. Remember, if you forget, it is math num 1. You type that into your calculator, and then you're able to get your table. It's negative 3, 3, negative 2, 2, negative 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Now let's talk about g of x. It's x plus 3. What I really want you to pay attention to is where that plus 3 is. It's on the inside of your absolute value function. So here's your table. Now when I type this in my calculator, I'm going to hit my y equals math num 1, and I'm going to do x plus 3 and then close my parenthesis. Make sure you close your parenthesis after the 3. So it's negative 6, 3, negative 5, 2, negative 4, 1, negative 3, 0, negative 2, 1, negative 1, 2, 0, 3. And I forgot to mention this in the first table. In order to come up with these tables, just like you did when we were graphing quadratics, you find the vertex. Find your vertex first, and then go 3 above, 3 below. That's what we're going to use as our standard this year. Now h of x is absolute value of x plus 3. So making sure that you notice that the plus 3 in this case is on the outside. So when you do it in your calculator, you hit y equals math num 1 x, close your parenthesis, then put your plus 3. Negative 3, 6, negative 2, 5, negative 1, 4, 0, 3, 1, 4, 2, 5, 3, 6. Those are the table values for your three functions. I'm going to go ahead and graph f of x in gray, starting with using your table that you just created. Go ahead, you can graph on your own as well. Remembering mine is not going to be exact. I'm going to try my best. Now that's my f of x. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use orange to graph my g of x, which is the x plus 3. So negative 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up 3, 1, 2, 3. And it's going to go accordingly. So right now, even, as we're drawing this, you're thinking to yourself, all right, well, that said plus 3. Why did that move to the left? Well, just like when we were talking about exponential stuff and linear shifts, everything has a reason. So absolute value functions, if it's inside my absolute value function, it's going to do the opposite. So if it says plus 3, we're going to move to the left 3. And that's my g of x. I'm going to write that in there just so that we remember. G of x. Now the last one I'm going to do is in green, and it's going to say positive 3 but it's on the outside. So here's my first dot, 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 dot. And go ahead and graph my lines there. It is just coincidental that my orange and my green line are actually on top of one another. Well, what did my green line do? What did my h of x do? It went up 3 on the y-axis, and this is h of x. So it went up 3 on the y-axis. So when the so for question number 4, it says graph g of x equals x plus the absolute value of x plus 3 and h of x absolute value of x plus 3 on the grid above. Explain the translation from f of x to g of x and f of x to h of x. So f of x, which is out here, my f of x shifted 3 to the left, 3 to the left. And my h of x shifted up 3. Now we're going to pay attention to what happens when we multiply by something. And remember back to our linear days when we multiplied or had a coefficient or we changed our coefficients in front of our variable, what happened. In this case, don't forget, we're talking about absolute value functions. So f of x is going to be the same as what it was on the first screen, and I'm going to just continue to do it all in red. So it's going to be negative 3, 3, negative 2, 2, negative 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. G of x, now when you type this into your calculator, you're going to hit y equals, you're going to hit 2, then you're going to hit math num 1. So it's going to be y equals 2 absolute value, because you get that by hitting math num 1, parenthesis, x, close your parenthesis. Your x, it's going to be negative 3, 6, negative 2, 4, negative 1, 2, 0, 0, 2, 4, 3, 6. Your h of x is 1/2 times x. Instead of having the 2 in there, you're going to have 1/2. And you're going to have negative 4, 2, negative 2, 1, 0, 0, 2, 1, 4, 2. We will take time and practice typing in absolute value functions in class on the calculator. I am going to use gray again for f of x. I'm going to plot my points and draw my lines in. And remember, this is f of x. And that's f of x, and I'll write that in there. The next one I'm going to do is I'm going to take care of, in red, I'm going to take care of g of x. So negative 3, 1, 2, 3, 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then negative 2, 4. I want you to pay attention that they all do share the same vertex, the same turning point. But what just happened from that gray line to the red line? Well, it got narrower or it got steeper. One of the two, you can answer either way. And now I'm going to do h of x, which is 1/2 times x. So negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. Negative 2, 1. Same vertex. And this is going to go out this way this time. So now I want you to ask yourself, what happened between the gray line and the green line? Well, you could say that it got farther apart, it got a little bit fatter, not as steep, one or the other. That's all acceptable answers. So to summarize, g of x so it was multiplied by 2. What if I had multiplied by 4? That green line would even get steeper. You're absolutely correct. So g of x, it got the slope got steeper. H of x the slope was not as steep.